Hello, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Victory. Good evening, Rosaline. Good evening, Mercy. How are we doing today? Good evening, Jeffrey. How are we doing? I hope we are fine. I hope we can hear me. Can we hear me? Please, if you can hear me, just leave a comment. Let me know if you can hear me or if I need to project more. Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while. I've missed all of you. All right, great, 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 great. So over the couple of 4 weeks now, because I believe this is the fifth week, we've gone through lots of topics, and I'll just maybe pick up some topics before we now go to the main topic of today. The topic of today is basics, yeah? Prototype basics. So I believe that from the first instance, from the first week, we learned foundations of product design, where we had an introduction into product design, design thinking. We also looked at user research fundamentals, where we looked at product vision, product goals, MVP, agile or lean methodologies. We went into details of user research fundamentals, qualitative, quantitative research, carrying out your interviews, carrying out your surveys, building or creating your user persona. Then we learned how to create user journey map. We understood competitive analysis. We went into information architecture, user flow, card sorting. We looked at ethical considerations, inclusive designs, and the like. We also looked at Figma basics. So we had a bit of introduction into Figma. We learned about styling, components, collaborative design, and the likes. We went into typography, colors. We also looked into creating design principles using your grid, your layout, hierarchy, icons, imagery, and so on. We went into wireframes, low fidelity, high fidelity using Figma tools. We studied UX writing basics, and then we looked into micro interactions, animations, and thoughtful design. Now, it's good to see all of you. It's good to see all of you. It's good to see all of you. Now, I've just recapped the different things that we have studied so far. And today we will be looking at prototype basics. So I'm believing that most of us already understand one or two things about Figma. So it's not like we are coming into Figma for the first time. But if this is your first time, I'm also hoping that I'm going to be as slow as possible so that we can harness all the necessary basics that we are supposed to learn from this. So there is no slide that I'm sharing. We are going straight into practicals. I'm also hoping that for every one of us, we would be connected to our laptops so that we can practice alongside what I'm doing. So I'm going to be a bit slower than I'm normally used to, and then we are going to, flow on the practical ride. So if you have not turned on your system, this is the best time for you to pick up your system, connect to the internet, and go to Figma so that we can jump on prototype basics and work some magic today. Today we are going to be working lots of magic. But before we go into, the whole practical thing, let's just, have a conversation. First, what is prototype? Because some people might be hearing prototype for the first time. They may be confused. They may be wondering, what exactly are we doing now? What is prototype? So if there's anyone who wants to give me an answer, I'll be looking at the chat box for an answer or a definition of what prototype is. What is prototype? What is prototype? What is prototype? I'm waiting for us. What is prototype? You know that for every design that comes out, or for every product, let's not even call it a design, for every product that comes out, there will be a prototype or there will be a model. There will be a prototype or there will be a model. So I'm helping us. There will be a prototype or there will be a model. That model is going to help you get insights. Yeah. Ibrahim Faiza said prototype is a preview of what a product will look like. I like that. A preview, a model of what the real product will look like. Okay. Collins says that prototype is a way of bringing your product to interactions. I like that. So Collins is adding something that is very, very important in prototype, which is interaction. I don't know if we've watched all those robotics movies, all those movies that, they have robots playing in and the likes. I don't know if you have seen that model, the robot model, yeah, the robot model where you see that it's only version one of that robot that they have where they are trying to make it work, and then that robot they are trying different things, and then they are saying that okay, if we do this, the robot will move like this. Then maybe they will do something, and then the robot will just blow. So they will now say, this is not working. So let's try another one. So you are saying that they've created a model. If it does not really work, then there will be iterations. I'm trying to break it down for us so that we can get a perspective, and I'm trying to be slow. So James says that a prototype is an early or preliminary version of a product, service, or an idea. It is a tangible representation of a concept used to test and refine the design, the functionality, and the usability. Okay, I like that definition as well. So it says it is an early or preliminary version of a product. Realize that that product is not yet launched. If it is a prototype, that product is not yet launched. You understand? So it is a preliminary version. It is a pre-launched version. It is a version that is a preview. I like the way David said it here. He said it is a preview of a design simulation. I love that. So we have seen some words that I will later be using. We have seen interaction. We have seen simulation. The simulation of the way or the character that the real product is supposed to exude. That is prototype. All right. So it says that a simulation of how users will navigate or interact with the real product. But what you are doing, you are creating the prototype of that real product. And as designers, our job is part of our jobs is to do or to create as good prototype as possible. It might not be the real product, but of course, during your usability testing, you are going to take this prototype to people so that they can test that particular product. All right. So Olushaya says that prototype is more like a visual mock-up of how the product will look like in real life. Thank you very much. I love that too. How the product will look like in real life. So that is not the product that people will be using, but how that product will look like in real life is what prototype is about. I may not be able to read all of our definitions, but I'll just try. Testing the functionality, Messi, testing the functionality, your products, testing the functionality of your product in a miniature version. I love that. I love that. Joseph says prototype is like a practical representation of your final product that can be edited, corrected until one is satisfied with the final product. I love that. Prototype is an early version of a product or an idea made to test how it will work before making the final version. I love all of our definitions. All of our definitions are amazing. Dikpo says a prototype is a sample of the product which shows what the product should look like. Its aim is to help to understand what is needed for the product to be finally released. Thank you very much. A prototype is a user testing of your product, of your design. Well, you are getting into usability testing now, because when you say usability testing, that is when the users, all the conditions are met for the users to test your product. But the prototype is that model that you are designing, that you are creating, that model, that version, that interaction that you are creating, so that the users will feel like they are working with the real life product. It's not the real life product, but the users will feel like they are working with the real life product. Okay, finally, the last definition I'm going to read for today before we start. Prototype is the process of designing a mock-up of a product or process ahead of creating a final design. I love all our definitions. All of our definitions are really, really it. But what I wrote here was prototype is a rough interactive draft. Prototype is a rough interactive draft, sample or model of a product. It is a model you can interact with. It is a mock-up, like one of us said, or like few of us have said. It is a mock-up you can interact with. It explains how users can interact with that particular product, how users will interact with the particular product. And we have core concept of prototype in Figma. We have core concept of prototype in Figma. What we are going to be dealing with today generally is prototype on Figma. So the tool we are using for the prototype of today is Figma. All right. Now, there are different types of prototype. If you are thinking of it, there are different types of prototype. There is the paper prototype. And when you say paper prototype, that means that you are drawing a rough sketch of that product, and then you are moving the flow. Okay, from here, it is going here. From if somebody taps on this particular button, you're just drawing it on paper. If someone taps this particular button, this is what they are going to see. So when somebody or when your stakeholders have an interaction with that paper, when they see that paper, they have an insight of how that product will look like, or how that product, the flow of that product at the end. So that is a paper prototype. Now, some people can even go as far as, cutting out the papers to look like maybe a phone or a laptop, and then moving one to the other in a very dramatic format, such that if you touch the first one, maybe you open it, you're going to see the second one, you open it, you're going to see the third one. So that is a paper prototype, just using papers to work on the model of that particular product. Now, there is digital prototype. So there is the paper prototype, and then there is digital prototype. With digital prototype, that tells you that we are working with our system, we are working with our laptops, we are working with our computers to create this prototype in a digital way. And then we have low fidelity prototype, and then we have high fidelity prototype. We have low fidelity prototype, we have high fidelity prototype. For low fidelity prototype, that means that you are creating a skeletal interaction of that particular product. So take for instance, you've created, I'm sure we've done low fidelity wireframes and the likes. So take for instance, you have created your low fidelity wireframe. Next thing you want to do is to probably, test that low fidelity wireframe, or test that low fidelity, yes, test that low fidelity wireframe with your users. The way you are going to test that low fidelity wireframe with your users is by turning that low fidelity wireframe to a prototype. That means you are going to make it interactive. So if we tap on this, it's going to lead us to a different place. If we tap on one place, it's going to lead us to another place. And then you can quickly iterate. So with your low fidelity prototype, now I'm going to go to my screen now. With your low fidelity prototype, you are going to have something like, let's say this. So this is a low fidelity, um, design. Yeah, there's really nothing here. If you look at this design, there's really nothing here. What you have on this is just, I'm closing my grid. I'm sure we have learned how to create grids, so I may not be teaching us how to create grid. But if you are coming to Figma for the first time and you want to create grid, there is something called layout grid just at the right, on your right panel, on your right property panel, just down here, you have your layout grid. So I just want to close the eye. I want to hide my grid so that you can see what I have designed. Now, this is a simple low fidelity wireframe. This is a simple low fidelity wireframe that maybe talks about, oh, sorry about this. I think I need to take this out. This is not supposed to be here. All right. Okay, so this just talks about how my splash screen for my mobile design will look like. So this is the way my splash screen will look like. These two will probably be my splash screen. And I'm sure that we have learned how to get our frames. So if we are thinking of maybe designing something like this, the first thing you want to do, or even before you start anything prototype, you want to create your frames first. I'm sure we probably have learned how to create our frames. How do you do that? Let me just go to a blank screen. So let's imagine that this is me coming into Figma for the first time. And at the end of the day, I want to create a low fidelity prototype. The first thing I want to do is I want to get my frame. So you see where my cursor is at the bottom panel, the bottom panel, you are going to see this icon that looks like an hashtag, but it's not an hashtag. It looks like a ladder kind of, icon. If you hover on it, you're going to see something called frame. Now, if you click on this frame, it's going to give you different frames on the left panel, sorry, on your right panel, So you're going to see different properties or different frames, like your phone frame, your tablet, your desktop, your presentation frame, your watch frame, that's an iPhone, all of those iPhone smartwatches, your iWatch rather, your paper frame, your social media frame, your Figma community frame, and then your archive frames that have been archived. Now, if you want to get a phone frame, you can just click on this active arrow. Click on it, and then you have different frames for the drop down. Yeah. Now you can choose any frame of your choice. So for me, I'm going to be using an iPhone 13 and 14 frame. Just bring that out, and then you see that you already have a frame. Now, with this frame, you can start your journey of design. From your frame, you can put in different elements. What are your elements? Your elements are your shapes that you are bringing into the frame. So you can bring in different elements of your choice. I have just clicked the rectangle. I can put this rectangle maybe here. I can put this rectangle here. So maybe this is my splash screen. I can just now get my text. To get my text, I'll just come to this icon that is written T, click on it, and then maybe I can write, oh sorry, the text size is really big. How do I change the text size? I can come to my property panel on the right side, and then I can change my size. My size right now is 128. If we can see it clearly, my size is 128. I can change it to maybe let's say 20. So I've adjusted it to 20. I can zoom in. How am I zooming in? You can use a control. If you are using a Windows laptop, you can click on Control and plus at the same time, Control and plus button at the same time, or to zoom out like this, Control minus. To zoom in, Control plus like this. but to zoom out, control minus, to zoom in, control plus. Or you can pinch your trackpad. You can pinch your trackpad. When you pinch them, when you bring your hands together, pinching your trackpad together, you would zoom out. And then when you expand your hand, like maybe like you're, I don't know if you can see my face at this time. So if you are seeing my hand, if you do this on your trackpad, that means you are zooming out. And then if you bring these two fingers back in, that means you are zooming in. So let me try that. I'm bringing, let me go back here. So I'm bringing this in and then I'm taking this out. So that's that. But of course, if that does not work for your trackpad, you can do a control plus or a control minus. Now I've gotten my text. My cursor is blinking, which means that I can type now. So my cursor is blinking. Now it's telling me I can type. So let me just write splash here. So I've written splash. I can decide to, put it at the center, or I can write logo. So let me just write logo here so that it tells you that this is where your logo will be. Now I've designed my first wireframe, my first low fidelity wireframe. Now let's say that if I maybe let's say this is a button that says start. Now, this is not the best way to design a button. This is never the best way to design a button. But let's say that this button is what you want to create a low fidelity prototype for. Now, if I duplicate this, I used Control and D to duplicate. Control and D at the same time, Control D to duplicate. So if that does not work for you, you can click on this frame, click on your options key, click on this frame, click on, I think that would be Alt for Windows, your Alt key, left click, and then drag it out. So that way as well, you'll be able to duplicate. Click on your Alt key, left click, and then everything at the same time. Your Alt key, at the same time, left click, at the same time, drag. Then you would have created a duplicate. But the simplest one is to use your Control and D to duplicate. Now, I've created this. Now, let's say that the moment I click on start, the moment I click on this start, I'm supposed to get maybe, excuse me, please. I'm supposed to get a, I'm supposed to get something of this sort. Maybe this is telling me welcome to Figma, and maybe I have other rectangles just, looking at me here. So let's say we have this. I'm duplicating as well. So this is me just duplicating with Control D, duplicating with Control D. So now let's start something on prototype because I have created two screens. You cannot prototype with just one screen, especially on mobile. So what you want to do is you probably want to get a frame. Every prototype needs a frame to start with. Every prototype needs a frame to start with. Now, you want to get, if you click on this, it should take you here. If your users are watching you and maybe you've given a link to your user and you say, try this out. If I click on this, I should come to this place. Now, how do I even get to the prototype? If you look at the whole of Figma that we are seeing here, you look at this particular area where my cursor is at, this particular area where my cursor is at. I don't know if you can see my cursor. If you can see my cursor, let me know. I'm trying to make sure my cursor is zoomed. If you see, if you see this design, the next right up by the side is prototype. The next right up by the side is prototype. I want to be sure that we are following me. I want to be sure that we are following me. I want to be sure that we are following me. If we are confused at any point, please let me know. All right, great. I'm really trying to be slow because the very funny part is I love prototype. So the moment I'm here, I could just start designing, enjoying myself, and forgetting that I'm teaching, which is why I'm calling myself numerous times. So this is the design button here, but just beside it, we have the prototype button. This is the design. Just beside it, we have the prototype. Now, give me a minute. Now, if you are in this prototype, just click on prototype here. The moment you click on prototype, you would notice that when you click on the frame now, something else is happening to it. You can see a plus. You can see this plus at every corner of that frame. You can see this plus at every corner of that frame. If now that I have this in a frame, if I click, or I've not even clicked, I'm just hovering. If I hover on anything that I click on, I would see the plus sign. If I hover on anything that I've clicked on, any of the corners, I would see the plus. You see that now I've clicked on start, which is the text. I can see this plus. If I click on this rectangle, I can see the plus sign. I can see this plus sign. Now, if I click on the frame, I can also see this plus sign. If I'm not hovering on that circle yet, you see that the plus sign is not showing here. If I don't hover on the circle, that plus sign will not show. But if I'm very close to that region, that circle will just pop up like I am here. Oh, this is where you are supposed to start the prototype from. I am here. Oh, this is where you are supposed to start. But when I now hover, that's when the plus would show. If any one of us is confused at this point, please let me know. If we are confused at this point, let me go over it again. This is us in our design. I've gone back to design. Now, if I click on any of the frames, you would notice that those circles plus sign, they are not showing. Nothing is showing. Yes, nothing is showing. Nothing is showing here. Nothing is showing here. But if I go to prototype and then see this rectangle that is clicked, you see the circle is showing now. This circle is showing now. This circle, and you see that those circles, they are showing at the midpoint of that particular frame, at the midpoint of that particular element. Let me call it element now. At the midpoint of that particular element, whether at the top, left, down, bottom, or right, it just shows there, and it tells you, this tells you that you can now prototype. Now, the idea is that if we click on this button, this is our makeshift button, our low fidelity button. The idea is that if we click on this button, it should take us to this screen. Now, how do I do that? If I click on this, you can see this plus now. That means that we are active. Now, if I click on this plus, I will hold my left click down. I'll just left click, hold it down. Now you see this arrow. Now the arrow is coming out of there. And then you can now tell the arrow where to go to. Let's do it again. See it. And then the moment it hits the next frame, it tells you, it gives you, even your laptop itself would give you a feel that, yes, you have gotten to somewhere. So now the moment I remove my hand from the left click that I've clicked on, you see this interaction shows up. This pop-up comes up. This pop-up just shows. This pop-up shows up. If we are lost, please let me know. If we are lost, please let me know. Okay, I see people saying we are following. Okay. Okay, Olawale Esther, we are using Figma. This is Figma. We are using Figma for this prototype. Temple, this is Figma. The favor, the reason why the plus showed was to show you that that place is now active, and then you can you can now drag it. Of course, I will repeat that last step. This is Figma, this is Figma, this is Figma. All right, so we are going to do it again. We'll go over it again. Now let me delete this. To delete, Control Z. To delete, I just clicked on the arrow itself and then my delete key, and then it's deleted. Now, let's go back from design. I'm on design now. I can do anything I want to do with design here. I can decide to bring another rectangle here, because I'm on design. Now, if I go to prototype, let's delete this. We don't need this here. Now, if I go to prototype, I'm coming to my property panel on my right side, this property panel on my right side, and then from design, I'm clicking prototype. Yeah, now I've clicked prototype. Now, the moment I click prototype, I told you that on every frame that you hover on, you would see this circle. That circle tells you that you can now prototype. You are now in the prototype mode, so you can prototype. Now, the moment you hover, let's click on this. The moment you hover on that circle, you'll see the plus. It tells you that you can now drag whatever you want to drag out of there. Yeah. Now see, we have dragged the circle. In fact, hold on. Let me move this. Let me shift this so that we can see the journey of our dragging. Now, I've clicked this shape. This is the element I want to interact with. If I hover on this circle, if I hover on the circle, there is a plus. The moment I see the plus, I left click and drag. I'm still left clicking and I'm dragging at the same time. I'm still left clicking and I'm dragging at the same time. Now, the moment it's touched this frame, I can now leave or remove my hand from the left click. I hope that's explanatory enough. Now, from there, this interaction modal shows up. This interaction modal shows up. Now, with this interaction modal, you can do a lot with it. Because we are working with phone screens, because we are working with phone frames, you notice that this context or this text or this writing says the trigger should be on tap. That tells you that the moment I tap on this element, we should do something. Something should happen. The moment I tap on this element, something should happen. But let's move, let's hold on. You can pick this drop down and then you can see different triggers. So you can see that if I can tap on that button and something will happen. I can drag that button and something will happen. I can hover on that button and something will happen. I can press that button down and something will happen. I can maybe use a particular key on my keyboard or on my gamepad. If I click on that key, if I say click, when I click on L, something should happen. So if I click on a particular key on my keyboard, something should happen. If my mouse enters somewhere, something should happen. If my mouse leaves somewhere, all of these are triggers. If my mouse leaves somewhere, something should happen. If I touch down on something, something should happen. If I touch up on something, something should happen. And then if I delay on something, after a particular minute or after a particular second, something should happen. These are the triggers that you can see here. Are we confused or are we together? Are we confused or are we together? If we are together, please let me see you. If we are confused, please let me know. All right. Okay. Together we are. That's great. That's great. Now, you have seen the different triggers that you can use. This tells you that on tap, you can carry out an action. On drag, you can carry out an action. While you hover, you can carry out an action. And so many others. Now, this on tap is what is selected. Yeah, so let's leave it at on tap. If you notice, look at your property section here, this right panel, this right side panel, you would notice that even here, you can still see that it is tapped. So when I tap, move to iPhone 13, whatever, whatever, whatever. Now, it says here, when I tap, what action, look at my cursor, what action should we trigger? What action should come up? What action should happen? You now see another action. It says navigate to. For most of the prototypes that I've done, I've mostly used navigate. But let's click on the drop down. Let me go back. Let's click on this, but this icon here, this arrow icon. Let's click on it. Now you can see that you can see navigate to, you can see change to, you can see go back, you can see scroll up or scroll to. Scroll to, for scroll to, you can use it for some mobile or some website or desktop designs, where those things just scroll to the next, scroll to the next, and so on. You can even open a link, maybe a different link. When I click on something, when I tap on something, let me open a link to a particular thing again. Now you can set variable, you can set variable mode. This is an advanced one. You can, you create a conditional. All of these are advanced. Now you can open overlay, you can swap overlay, and then you can close overlay. What I want us to really focus on is this navigate to, back, and then come down to open overlay, swap overlay, and close overlay. We are going to try to do all of that today, time permitting us. So we are leaving this at navigate to. Let's start again. Our trigger is on tap. We are navigating to. Now, because we've not renamed our frames, so let's say we rename this splash. I just double clicked here. I double clicked on, let's go back. Let's see if we can go back. Go back, go back, go back. All right. So this was on iPhone 13 and 14. I just double click on it, and then we have an active place where I can change the name of the frame. So I'm changing the name of the frame to splash, or let's say start. Click on your enter key, and then it is there, start. Now let's say this is let's call this a name. Let's just call this banner, because the banner of God over us is love. His banner over us is love. So let's call this banner. So we have our start frame, and then we have our banner frame. Great. Now, for me to open that modal that we were seeing before, I'll just click on this arrow. Yeah, this arrow, this line, I'll just click on it, and then you see that it is there. But now you know that this destination was on iPhone 13, 14, something, something before. It was explaining, or it was showing you the frame that you are going to your destination. Now, let's see it. You are starting from start. But when we tap on this element, your destination is where? Banner. Your destination is banner. Now, if you come to your right panel here, you will see that on tap, this arrow says go to banner. On tap, go to banner. Now, there is the animation mode here. This is the animation mode here. Now, for this animation, of course, if there are other frames, let's go back to this banner. If there are other frames that you still want to interact with, you can. I have different frames here, so that's why you can see all of these frames. But if you have just one frame or two frames, you will be able to see just those frames that are available on your canvas. These are the different frames that I have. You see that I have lots of frames on my canvas. That's why you can see all of this. But if you just have two, then you'd only be seeing this banner. Now let's go to this animation. Now for this animation, You can either make it instant, or you can make it, there are different types of interaction that you want to bring in. So do you want it to just be instant, instantly move, or do you want it to dissolve, or do you want some smart animation? Do you want it to move in, move out, push in, or slide out? So whatever you want, you can actually get it from this. Now let's try instant. So we have said on tap, navigate to banner, and then make it instant. Now let's try that and let's see if it would actually work. How can we see this? Figma has made it so beautiful that we can preview. So how can we preview what we have done so far? Just come to your top corner here. This still on the right panel, yes, but come to this place. You will see a play button that says present. That's not where you are going to. If you click on present, of course, it will open a new window for you where you can see the full detail, but that's not where we are going to. Come to this drop down here, this arrow button here, this arrow icon that is looking down. Click on it, and then you will see preview. Now that is where we are going to, because we just want to preview what we are doing. So click on preview, and then you will see something like a phone frame, exactly looking like a phone staring at you. Is Figma not amazing? Now, this is what we have. With this now, it's so beautiful that if you look at my cursor, everywhere I am hovering on, nothing is happening. But the moment I come to that place that I've given an action, that I've given a trigger, you see that there is a difference. You see that there is a difference. Now, if I click on it, you see that immediately we have something like this. I hope we have followed that to this point. I hope we have followed that to this point. Did we get all of that? Did we get that? Did we get, all right, great, great, great. All right. So this is just like the simplest kind of prototype that you even want to encounter. This is so simple. You can continue from there. You can do so much. You can do so many buttons. Let's try something. Now, this is me that I've kind of designed this here. So let's say that I want you to be able to interact with this. So now see my plus. Yeah. So it's simple. Just move it to this place. I say on tap, navigate to this particular screen and make it instant. Beautiful. Now, let's say from here, navigate to this on tap. Yes, no problem. Let's say that if I click on this button, navigate to this, same thing, instant, no problem. Let's say that if I click on continue, it should navigate to this place, no problem. On tap, navigate to, all right, great. Let's say if I click on continue, it should also navigate to something like this. Beautiful. Okay, let's say if I click on this place, if I just click on this like this, it should just give me this. Okay, on tap. Okay, no problem. Let's say if I say use current address, then it will just take me to my home screen. Perfect. Now, let's imagine that you've done this, and then you want to give maybe a user, or you want to give your clients, you want to say, this is the low fidelity, kindly go through it and let me get your thoughts. So the person taps, it goes to chop hub. Nice. Taps again, it goes to chop hub. It sees continue as a guest. We deliver your order to your destination. What's going to be here? You tell him that it's going to be an image. He nods his head. He says, okay. He says, get started. And then you see how it is going. All right, okay. Continue. Sometimes if you have continue as a guest, you can just, let's try it out. You can do multiple prototyping on one page. So let's say I want to say, if I continue as a guest, I will not see this get started, this welcome back, this delivery address, this second one. I'll just go straight to home because I am coming in as a guest. This is the plus button. The plus button tells me that is where I want to choose. Now you see how I'm moving it until I go to that frame. This is not even the frame I want. This is the frame I'm looking for. So you see, the moment it touches that frame, you see that the frame becomes active. There's a blue mark around that frame. It tells you that that's the frame that you want. On tap, navigate to make it instant. Perfect. Now, I've been able to do this. So you can even say, okay, can I continue as a guest? You tell him try it. He clicks on it and immediately it comes here. Says, wow. So if I continue as a guest, I don't need all of the login processes or procedures. All right, that's nice. Let's say I don't want to continue as guest. Let's say I want to log in. So if I click on login, where should it take me to? You say it takes you to welcome back. All right, welcome back. Now, if I say from welcome back, it takes me to, I don't think I need delivery address. So let's remove this. I'll just look at me now, look at what I will do. So I want to remove this prototype, but I want to take it to somewhere else. I've clicked on this arrow. I'll just pick the mouth of the arrow and then I will move to where I want it to be. So I want it to be here. The moment I log in, put all the necessary details, I should come here. You see what has happened? You don't need to delete it. You just need to pick the mouth and take it to the necessary place that is supposed to be. Now, let's say for this particular one, this is my sign up. I don't want this prototype to go to login just after I sign up. I want it to go to my address. I want to be able to select my address because that's the flow in my head. All right, that's good. So I've taken it to this place. Yes. This first address is leading to the second address, and from there, my home page. All right, now let's try our prototype again. So if I tap on this, we have Chop Hub. If I tap on this, we have three things that I can prototype here, that I can check, that I can interact with. I can either continue as a guest or get started or log in. So which one do I want to do? If I continue as a guest, I go straight to the home page. But let's go back. Now, what I did, I just went to this arrow here, this arrow, and said previous frame. Okay, now if I click on login, it's going to take me to welcome back. You can log in, use this. And let's imagine that I've put my country and my phone number. Just click on continue and then I'm back. All right, I don't want this. Okay, so let's go again. Chop Hub. Now I want to just get started. So if I click on get started, you see now it takes me to let's get started. I can say continue. Now this is my delivery address. The moment I want to put my delivery address like this, another icon comes in and says you can use your current location. So that's where I want them to send the food to because I'm very hungry. And now I'm in. But all of this is low fidelity. Anybody that works with this already has an idea of how your application can work. So we've done basic prototyping, very, very basic prototyping today. Do we have any question? Okay, give me a minute. Yes, this is control think. This is a mid fidelity wireframe because it has lots of like information. You understand? You're not really confused. The text are there, but let's say it's a blend of mid fidelity and low fidelity because at some point you are seeing information, at some point you are just seeing rectangles. You understand? All right. This is a blend. This is a blend. Low fidelity, mid fidelity. All right. But of course, we are doing low fidelity prototype. So there is no design at all on this. Okay. So Temitope says, what is the maximum frame I can have at a time on my board? As many as possible. Your canvas is so big that you can have as many frames as possible. But we will still talk about best practices. We'll still talk about best practices. Yes, of course, you can always come back to YouTube to watch this. This is a video. You can always come back to watch this video. And of course, you can do this on a laptop. I'm not even sure if you can do it on an iPad yet. I think somebody said you can do it on an iPad. So if you have an iPad, you can work on an iPad. All right, so someone asked at Alatishe Sunday says, how can you send the low fidelity to stakeholders to preview? That is a very, very nice question, very important question, because I was going to talk about that. Now, um, now, if you want to send this prototype to people, if you want to send the prototype to people, there's still a lot we need to talk about. But if you want to send the prototype to people, now you see this place where we came to, where we checked preview, where we're previewing it. Click on that drop down and go to present. You see that my screen is loading, and then we are going to the presentation space. From here, let me see where we can. Okay, no, that's open in editor. There's the place where we can copy the link of the prototype and then send it. Somehow the updates are a lot. No. Share prototype. I've been saying it all along. So this is the place where you share your prototype. Now, the moment I click on share prototype, you see that I can copy this link. If I copy the link, let's go to our prototype basics again. I can now paste the link. This is the link to my prototype. This is the link to the prototype. I can send, I can send this link to maybe WhatsApp. If I send this link, I'm going to make this white so that we can see it well. So if I send this link to WhatsApp, or yes, to WhatsApp, anyone who clicks on it, of course, let's go back to prototype basics. Let's come back here. You can say anyone, let's say, yes, anyone can view. You can change it, of course, say anyone can view. So let's leave that. Anyone with that prototype can, with the prototype link, can view. Anyone can view. Copy the link and then send it to whoever you want to send it to. All right. I hope I've been able to answer your question. I'm not sure if you can create, I'm not sure if you can create prototype on Illustrator. I don't know. I don't know if you can create prototype on Illustrator. But if you can, then that's good. You can try it out. Okay. But I know you can do the same thing on XD. I know you can do the same thing on XD. So because of time, let's see how we can try some more designs. Let's go back to Figma. Now, we've just talked about basics. Now, let's try something else. We are coming back to our first design, and then we are going to prototype. If you notice something, you will notice that, I'm trying to click on this again. You would notice that, let's say that I want to say on tap, navigate to, but I don't want it to be instant. I want it to move in maybe in an animation kind of way. So I click on moving, and then you are seeing the direction with which it can move in. So do you want it to be left? Do you want it to come in from the left? Do you want it to come in from the right, like that? So this is from the left, this is from the right. Do you want it to come in from up, down? And then do you want it to go from, down, up? So however way you want it to be, you can try it out. But for me, I'm going to say coming from the left, because there's something else I want to do. Coming from the left. Now, the curve that you want to give it. Do you want it to ease in, ease out, ease in and out? Now, if you ease in, it comes in, I think it says from slow to fast. I think there is one that says from slow to fast. So easing in, if you want it to ease in, It's coming in slow, then it goes fast. So the timing again, do you want, how many milliseconds do you want to give it? Now this is calculated in milliseconds. That means 1,000 milliseconds will give you 1 second. That means if you are saying 300 milliseconds, that is 0.3 of a second, which is going to be fast. So if I say 1,000 seconds, that means milliseconds rather, that means in 1 second is going to slide in. So let's try 600 milliseconds, yeah? So let's try 600 milliseconds. You see that it is slower now. It came in slower. Now, if I do this and then I test what I have done, see what happens. Can you see that? So it just, it just moved in. Now, let's say that I want it to be such that even though it moved in like this, if I click on this frame, it's supposed to take me back to this screen. So if I click on this frame, it's supposed to take me back to this frame. Now, sometimes I can do this, yeah? I can do this, whereby I brought this connector and then I took it back to the first frame. And then I'll say maybe on tap, navigate to start, moving. And then this time around, instead of moving in from the left, I want it to go from the right so that it will look as if it came in and then it's going out. You understand that kind of vibe? So that's what I want to give it, is in 600. So let's try what I've done. Yeah. Now, if I click on this, it goes back. If I click on this, it comes in. If I click on this, it goes back. And then you can just enjoy the flow like that. You can just enjoy the flow like that. But there is another way around it. There's another way around it. Now, you can decide that you don't want it to just, come back to this place. So let's pick this arrow and then let's see this. Can you see this pop-up that came here? This tells you that you should go back, like go back to where you're coming from. Go back to the previous place that you were. Even if you had moved 25 steps, go back to the previous screen or the previous interaction that you were before. So you can also try this. Let's try that again. So I'm removing this connector from this place. The moment I removed it, you see that there's a back button because Figma already has ideated that you've done the first flow. You probably would want to go back. So you can hit this icon and then it tells you go back. And you can say on tap, it goes back. That's that. So you can try it now. You see back. So that means that you can click on this, and then if you click on this, it just goes back. Click on this, and then you click on this, it just goes back. So you can try all of that. We are going deeper. We are going deeper. Now, let's say that you don't want moving again. You don't want, of course, moving, the opposite to be move out, yeah? So we don't want moving, we don't want to move out. So let's say if we push, if you tap, then there's a push. So it pushes the previous screen out. It pushes the previous screen out. So let's try that now. Same thing, same animation, let's go. Close this. So let's see, click on start. You see how it pushed the other one out. So that is on push. Now you can also try sliding. So that one just slides in. Now let's try that. Same interaction, click back, and then you see how it's sliding in a way that the other one was then fading out. You understand? So those are the little interactions that you can work with for now. Let me see if we have any question. Yes, smiley, even if there is another frame beside it, that back will still show. That back icon will still show. You can try it out. All right. In the next 1 minute, we'll be going for a break so that we can take our attendance and then we would continue. I hope we've been enjoying the class so far. I hope we've been enjoying the class so far. Now, let's just try one more. We've tried sliding, then let's try slide out. So let's try slide out. Then let's do this. Click on start and you see, let's say for slide, in fact, let's change this direction. Yes, let's say it's coming in from this side. So let's go back and then let's say start. Do you see what happened? We've given it a different direction and go back, click on start, and it's pushing it out to that direction. So I hope we've enjoyed it so far. It's 8 o'clock. I'm hoping we are going to carry out our attendance very, very soon. So I'll be muting now so I will take our attendance. And immediately after our attendance, we'll come back to continue the class. See you soon. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. I am welcome back. You guys didn't go anywhere. I was the one that left. All right. So I didn't move from where we were, even though I was so tempted to just continue enjoying myself, but I didn't move. You see? Now, we talked about the different interactions that we could have with instance. So for the triggers now, no, for the animation, yes, let's call it that. For the animation, we've talked about instance. So if it is instant, you're not going to see any animation at all. You just see it move. It will just move, like no interaction and no animation. There's just interaction, but no animation. Let's say we dissolve it. Let's say we dissolve. And that's dissolving. Let's use ease in and out. Yes, let's use ease in and out. And let's make it like 1000 milliseconds. 1000 milliseconds. Yeah. Did we get that now? So you see that the animation is what we moved. We've talked about instance, we've talked about moving, move out, push, slide in and slide out. We've talked about that. Now, we are now talking about dissolve. For that dissolve, it's just like how liquid, how ice dissolves to water. That's the feeling it's going to give. That disappearing, dissolving, feeling. That's what you're going to have here. And of course, if you are looking at this place, you are going to see how the interaction will, happen. So let's try that. We've seen this. Let's go back and then let's say start. Can you see how it dissolved? Let's go back. Let's click. I don't like it though, but of course, that's the idea. I don't like it, but that's the idea. So now you understand what dissolving feels like. It's dissolving. One thing is dissolving to the other. Yeah, so that's that on dissolve. Now let's try smart animate. So we've tried dissolve. Let's go to smart animate, still with this particular low fidelity prototype that we are doing. On tap, navigate to banner. But now we are using smart animate. And we are saying with this smart animate, we want it to ease in and out. We want it to ease in and out. And let's put it back at 600 milliseconds. That's for timing, duration, nothing serious there. Now, if we click, you see what happens. You see now it just moved. In fact, let's try something. Let's try something. Let's say that yes, I think this is good. So it has done ease in and out. Let's say that we want it to let's say we want it to just ease in. Yes. Now let's try that now. Let's try it now. All right, beautiful. Can you see how it's moving? It looks like it is this rectangle that is now forming the other rectangles. You understand? And you see the stars just disappearing and then coming back, sort of. So that's that on easing. Let's try ease out. So let's try ease out. Still following the same mode. Let's try gentle. Let's try gentle. See that it came in a gentle format. But if we say bouncy, let's try bouncy. Let's make it 900 or let's make it 1000 milliseconds. Okay, close this now. Let's try that. You see the rectangle bouncing. You see the rectangle bouncing as well. So that's that on bouncy, 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 bouncy castle. So that's that. Now that we've seen all the different variations, you can try slow. Slow will be slow. Slow will be slow. You get it. Now, you can even try your custom spring, but we would not have the time to, start teaching this. So let's close this out, but you can also try it. You can see the stiffness, you can see damping, and then you can see mass. But we are not doing custom spring today. So let's just put it in easing. Now let's close this. We are through with the basics. And then I can even cancel this. Now there's another thing in design or in prototype that we are supposed to look at. What I'm going to do now is, for this design, I'm going back to design mode. And then I'm going to just keep duplicating this rectangle until it overflows. Yes. So I've duplicated the rectangle. I've duplicated the rectangle so much we cannot see it because something is happening to this frame here. Now, what is happening? Look at this, my property panel here. You can see that my content is clipped. But if I unclip the content, you see that I have an overflow. See where it is getting to? I have an overflow of different elements in this particular frame. But when you clip the content, you won't see it. So clip content is for you to clip or hide excess content that is outside the frame. Now, let's clip this content. So this is what we are seeing. Now, there is something in prototype. Let's go to prototype. Let's remove this. We don't need this anymore, so just delete it. Now, there's something in prototype that helps you with your scroll behavior. Scroll behavior. Now, look at this. You can see overflow. This panel here, overflow. And right in overflow, you can see no scrolling. Good. If I click on this place, you can see horizontal scrolling, vertical scrolling. So let me try the vertical scrolling. The moment I click on vertical scrolling, I can see this. Scroll. So whether you have as many things as possible in your frame, you can still scroll without having to elongate your frame. Without having to do this, you can still scroll. I hope we got that. I hope we got that. Did we get that? Or should I do it again? Should I do it one more time? If you are in favor of doing it one more time, just say once more, once more. Just say once more. The moment I see once more, I'm going to do it again. But if someone says, how do we duplicate? Just click on Control D, Control D, Control D at the same time. Control D to duplicate, Control D to duplicate. The moment you think of duplicate, just say Control D, Control D to duplicate. All right, once more. So I'm going to do it again. So let's go back to Figma. Now I will not even use this frame again because you people are like, this magic that this girl is doing. I don't want to know what. Now I've clicked on my frame. I'm picking a brand new frame. See my brand new frame? Sorry, I'm still in prototype. Let's go back to design. Now let's bring in a shape. Let's bring in numerous shapes. Sef. So let's bring in my rectangle. Let's make this rectangle big. Then let's make the second one small. So I've duplicated, Control D to duplicate it. And then let's say I want to make it smaller. Then duplicate. I want it to be here. All right, duplicate again, duplicate again. Let's bring this guy, duplicate again, and then bring him under this place. Then duplicate this, bring it. I'm playing too much today. God help me. And then let's keep duplicating. No, come up, come up. All right. Then duplicate, 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 duplicate. So I have a lot of frames. Of course, let's remove this clip content so that you see what I've just, all the drama I've just performed. Let's raise it up, raise it, raise it, raise it. Can you see all of what I've done in my playtime? let's try to even give them like different colors so that you will not feel like this thing that Esther did. Just colorize it. Just colorize some parts, not everything. Please don't use colorize outside here. They'll just laugh at you. All right, just give it like different colors, yeah. All right, good. Now we have this frame. Just go to prototype. You have this frame. You can see all of what we have out there. Like, it's a lot. Just come to prototype. You don't need to prototype anything. You don't need to wait. You don't need to start picking this plus. No, it doesn't work now. It will not work now. You don't need it now. You really don't need this now. What you need is to go to scroll behavior. Scroll behavior. Click on scroll behavior and then do what? Choose vertical. Vertical. Vertical is straight, this like this. Horizontal is like this. Vertical is like this. So you are choosing vertical. Now, the moment you choose this, I want to preview. This is me previewing. Of course, this is what we have normally, but then you can see that I can scroll. I can carry my board. I can scroll. I can scroll. Are we together now? Did we get that? Someone said I should do it again. Please rewatch. Please rewatch this. Please, you will rewatch. Rewatch it. Rewatch it. Please rewatch it. Rewatch, rewatch, rewatch. What part do you want me to do again? Just rewatch it. Kindly rewatch it. This is it. After you have done your design is overflowing. The next thing you just want to do, you want to come to prototype, come to your scroll behavior, and then vertical. The moment you've done vertical, there's no problem again. You can just you have to go to your prototype. You have to, this is it. It will not scroll on this file here, yeah? So you have to do what? Come to your preview. So the moment you preview, you can scroll. That's all. It's so simple. It's as simple as that. Now let's try something else. Same thing. I want to get a frame. Let's push this to this place so that it doesn't disturb us. I want to get a frame. I want to get an iPhone 13, 14. And this time around, let's go to design. I want to get a shape. This time around, I want my shape to be horizontal. Yeah, horizontal. And then you see that it's just going to the left. Great. So I want my shapes to be horizontal. Let me unclip so that you can see what I've done. I've just had a lot. Now, same thing I'm going to do, yes. Same thing I'm going to do. I'll go to prototype, and instead of no scrolling, I do horizontal. Now, the moment I do horizontal, you see that it can scroll, it can scroll, it can scroll. That's all. Sincerely, so simple, so demure, so classy. You can scroll. You can scroll. Can scroll, can scroll, can scroll, can scroll. I like to play. Don't mind me. This is something that makes me very, very happy. So we've done those scrollings, yeah. Now, if you have images here, you can also do the same thing, and it will just scroll. It will scroll. Is that beautiful? Now, let's say that you want to use a particular phone. So take for instance, this is Figma Basics. You notice that there's a phone. You notice that there's a phone frame around this place. So let's say you want to, choose a phone. You can come to show prototype here, show prototype settings, show prototype settings, and then you can choose the phone you want. So because I'm using an iPhone 13, iPhone 14 frame, I can choose an iPhone 13 mini or an iPhone 14, and then I can use that. I can choose the color that I want to work with. Let's use red. And then I can say I want it in portrait or landscape. And then I can choose my flows. So you see my phone is now red. And look at it here. The body of my phone is red. So that's that. That's that. That's another part. Now, because of our time, because we have so much. Now you can also decide that this iPhone 14, I don't want it. I want no device. So if you say no device, there will be no device. But if you say you want a device, there will be a device. Now, let's say that in your design now, in this design, let's go back to our design. So let's go back to design mode. Now, let's try something else. Let's try something. I have all of this here. I want to just bring it down a bit. Nothing serious. Okay? Just want to bring it down a bit. All right, nothing serious. Let's say this is our design. Let's say this is a shape. This is maybe an element that you have brought into your design that should stay up here, that should not move. This thing should not move. This particular frame should not move, but others can move. So let's say others can move, yeah? So let's say this is here, designed here like this, okay? Then let's say we can bring in some rectangles that will just stay like this. This one, I'm just trying to show us different things that our prototype can do. I hope we understand that. This is just basic prototyping. All right. So, but what I want is that at the end of the day, this particular element that is at the top here should not move. It should just stay where it is. Now, what do? I'll go to prototype again. Go to prototype. Click on this particular shape that I want. This particular shape that I don't want it to move. This one. Yes. And then I would come to this position, scroll behavior position, and then I would say fixed, stay in one place, don't move from this place, like the way our parents used to tell us to stay in one place and then we'll finally move, but this one will not move. So you see what I've just done? I said fixed, stay in one place, stay in one place. Now watch what will happen to my design. You notice that I can scroll up. I should be able to, hold on, give me a minute. All right. So I, sorry, hold on, please. Let's see. Oh, I'm so sorry. I have not, oh my God. So give me a minute. Now this is telling me I'm only on horizontal flow, not vertical. So let me say both directions. So I can either go up or go sideways, both directions. Beautiful. Now see this. I can go to the side. I can also go to this side. Yeah. I can go to this side. I can go to the top. See, I can scroll up, scroll down, and then I can scroll sideways. All right. But that's not where we are going to. You notice that this is staying in one place. Let me change the color so that we would notice it. Let's give it a darker shade. All right, great. You would notice that it is staying, it is not moving. No matter what we do, it is not moving because we have asked it to stay in one place. We have told it not to move. So stay in one place. Now, that's that. Now let's try something else. You notice that this design is not so demure. Why? Because the elements that we have designed is what is moving, and as it is moving, it's even shifting our major design, which is not really classy. So let's try something else. Let's bring in let's change colors. Let's use color to change some of the things here. This color, let's change this color. Let's just give them like different colors. I would have brought in images, but I'm also looking at time. I would have just brought in different images, but I'm looking at time. So let's just try colors instead. Okay. If I try it for, yes, if I just do like, this should be enough. All right, great. Now look at what's happening here. We are in design now. Now what I want to do is I want to make sure that these shapes are moving but they are not disturbing this movement as well. So I'm going to select all these shapes that are horizontal, and I'm going to put them in something called the auto layout. So I'm going to right click, and then I'm going to say add auto layout, add auto layout. If you don't know anything, if you don't know so much about auto layout, you can go online. I don't know if we're teaching it in this class, but you can go online and then you can watch videos on auto layouts. Absolutely stunning something. So let's put it here. Let's make sure that it ends at this point here. Now, see, let's do that again. Let's do that again so that I'm not confusing us. Control Z, Control Z. Now, I selected every of the rectangle that is horizontal, and then I right clicked and I said add auto layout. The shortcut for that is Shift A, Shift A. So add auto layout. Yeah. After adding auto layout, I just picked this end here. Watch my cursor. See my cursor? Because my cursor is like this, I know it will move. So while my cursor is like this, not like this, oh, not like this, but like sideways, it's telling me that it can move sideways. I didn't even select it. I just saw it and then now I'm dragging it to where it is supposed to be. So immediately I've done this. The moment I did this, what I can now do is I can come to clip content here and then clip this content. Not just that, I can now go to prototype and then click on only this auto layout element. Now, this auto layout element, I can now come to overflow and then say horizontal. Now, what is going to happen is that this can move horizontally. You see it now? It can move horizontally, and then my design is no longer moving horizontally in a way that does not please God. Now my design can move vertically on its own, whereas you see that this is still sticky, still staying at the top. Now let's try something. Let's try another thing. Let's say that, let's duplicate this screen, Control D. I'm removing this design. Let's go to design mode now. I'm saying that I'm going to change the color of this. I'm changing it to a darker shade. All right. And then I want this to just be sticky at the top, to just stay at the top when it gets to the top. So let's go to prototype. Instead of saying scroll with parent, I'll just say sticky. Stop at top edge. Stop at top edge. Now, let's see what happens. Hold on. Stop at top edge. Okay. What else is moving? So let's see if that would move. Oh, okay. Okay. Let me add more. Give me a moment. Control Z, 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 Z. Design, duplicate this, drag it down, duplicate more. All right, so let me see. Oh, I see. It's even stopping, but because it's undone it. So let me bring it to front, bring to front. Perfect, perfect. Okay, now it is staying in the front, and now we can see, oh, sorry. Now we can see the flow. So let's try it again. Sticky, just stay at the top while others can go. Yeah, that's perfect. So it's staying at the top and then others are flowing. So let me go over that again. I had to bring it to the front because without staying at the front, other designs were covering it, other things were covering it. So I had to bring it to the front. So that was what I did. I said bring to front. And the moment I brought it to front, you saw the difference. Before it looked like it wasn't working, but we had to bring it to front and then it was sticky at the top. So yes. All right. So someone says that when I duplicate, mine doesn't go down itself. I need to drag them to their place. Yes, that is very, very correct. Because we are not using auto layout, when you duplicate, it would stay at the same spot. So Control D, I have duplicated it, but it is staying here. I have to first drag down. The moment I drag down, I can now continue doing the Control D, Control D. Do you understand? But if you don't drag it down, it will not move. It will just stay in that particular section. But the moment you drag down, let's say you want it to go by the side. Let's try this just for design sake. I've duplicated, I bring it to the side, and then I just continue. I didn't press any other thing. I'm just doing the Control D, and you can see that now it is moving by itself. All right. So that's that on some of the bits of prototype that we have seen. We've checked directionals, that's the overflow rather. We've checked interactions. Let's go into this design. I think we've talked about this. This is the vertical scrolling and the horizontal scrolling. So we've talked about that already. The moment I just come to vertical, now check this out. Check this out. You realize that this is supposed to be in vertical scrolling, but I kept it in what? Horizontal. It's supposed to be in vertical, but it does not have anything that is horizontal here. But I kept it in horizontal. See what happened? You see this information icon just popped up. It said, for scrolling to work on this frame, the content needs to be bigger than the frame, because it had checked it and it noticed that your content is not bigger than the frame in the horizontal pattern. Now, if I say, oh, I'm so sorry, it's supposed to be vertical. You notice that that icon, that information icon, has disappeared because now it realizes that we can now do this. Now, if I do the same process, if I work the same process on this vertical mode, on this, yes, this horizontal mode now, say I went to go and choose horizontal, I went to go and choose vertical. You see that it's telling us the same thing. For scrolling to work on this frame, the content needs to be bigger than the frame. Now we can go to horizontal and it would work. So that's that for this design. Now let's move down. We now have something. We have this. Somebody would have been wondering, how on earth did this happen? I'm not clicking on anything right now. I did not click on anything. I did not do anything. I did not, I didn't touch anything. And then we have that manner of, transition. It's just almost like a real application. You understand? So I didn't do anything, I didn't touch anything. The question is, how can I do that, in a very demure, classy way? So let's try something. I'm going to bring in a frame. This is my frame. I'm going back to design mode. And then I'm just going to do something like I'm going to do something like a circle. That's let's try an ellipse. This is the ellipse I'm bringing in. I'm going to make this ellipse. I'm going to lock aspect ratio first. When I lock aspect ratio, what is happening to the width is going to affect the height. So let's make this 1000. It's really big. It can cover the entire screen without leaving any impact. Yeah. Now I'm going to duplicate this. After duplicating this circle, I'm going to take it back to 100. And I'm going to centralize it and centralize it. When this happens, you are going to watch what will happen with this design that I've just done. Now let's go to prototype. I'm in prototype now. If I click on this, I've not clicked though. If I hover on this frame, you see the plus sign on the edge of the frame. That's what I need. I'm going to take it and I'm going to move it to the next frame. Let's make this space bigger so that you will see it. This is the frame. I hover on it, I get my plus, and then I take this connector to the next frame. Now, instead of saying on tap, you can even try on drag. Maybe we'll try on drag. Maybe we'll try while hovering for some cases. Maybe we'll try while pressing. But let's use after delay because that was what we saw. After delay. Now, after how many minutes of delay? Let's say we want it to be 1200 milliseconds of delay. Yeah? Then we want it to navigate to this place. We want it to be in smart animate mode and we want it to ease in and out in, let's say, 700 millisecond format. Now, let's try it out again. Click on the frame. Click on the frame and that's that. You see that even without clicking on anything, that after delay thing would work. If you even want it to be slower, you can click on this after delay interaction again, come to this ease in and out, and let's say we even want it to be 1200 milliseconds. Now click on the frame again. And slowly. Can you see that? So it's after delay is sweet for some nice interactions. I want to see if we have questions. Someone said, John says, am I using shapes or frames for the boxes? Oh, I'm using frame. I'm using just shapes. I just picked the rectangle shape and that's what I've been using. Just basic shapes that you can use. This right now is an ellipse shape. So let's see. Let's go. Okay, someone is asking the difference between wireframe and prototype. Is the interaction. The interaction is the difference. With your wireframe, the wireframe is just static design. Whether you have low fidelity wireframe or high fidelity wireframe or mid fidelity wireframe, it's there's no interaction, so it's just a wireframe. The moment you change that, the moment you begin to prototype your wireframe, it changes from wireframe to prototype. So that's the difference. The difference is in the interactions. Now, what we are doing right now is a prototype, no longer a wireframe. But if it is just static, then it is a wireframe. I hope we got that. Um, how can you export your prototype for posting on social media handles? I think you can use a video mode to record your prototype screen and then post that to your social media handle. Yes, wireframe is just the design. Wireframe is just the design without the prototype. The moment you add the prototype, then it changes to a prototype. All right, great, 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 great. You can prototype any kind of wireframe. You can prototype your, what we are doing right now, we are working with low fidelity. And you know, I explained that you have low fidelity prototype, just as you have low fidelity wireframe, you have high fidelity wireframe, just as you have high fidelity prototype. So you can prototype your low fidelity wireframe and you can prototype your your high fidelity wireframe as well. All right, someone says AI creator. You said, do I add the ellipse after designing? No, the ellipse came with the design. All right, so let me try what I just did again, but with a different shape. let's use a different shape, right? Okay, so let's get a different frame now. Let's get a frame. Let's get a frame, right? So let's go to design. Let's pick a shape. So I used ellipse before. Let me use a let me use a polygon. I'm thinking of something. So this is my polygon here. Let it start from here. Let's lock aspect ratio and make it 1000. All right. So centralize it. Centralize. You see where I'm coming to centralize? I'm aligning horizontal layers and then I'm aligning the top layer. 1000 is too small for this. Let's make it 1500 so that it will cover it up. So I'm aligning center, I'm aligning everywhere. 1005 is still looking somehow. Let's make it 2000 so that it would really cover it, to cover the world. Oh, sorry, I took it to 200. 2000, 2000. All right, so 2000 is covering everywhere. Now, this is what I want to do. Now, see, it has covered everywhere. Now, it looks as if there's nothing here. So I want to duplicate. I've duplicated this, and then I'm picking the rectangle again. Now, let me even try for 3. Let me try 3 times. Let me try 3 frames, 4 frames, 5 frames. Let's bring this down to 1000. Centralize it, but turn it around. Sorry, it just came to my head. I told you that I love, I told you that I love prototyping. It's not my fault. I'm so sorry. It's not really my fault. I'm so sorry. So let's do this. Now, let's duplicate again. Let's create good spacing. I can do this for the next 10 hours. I'm so sorry. But I just love prototyping. Now let's make it small again. Let's make it 500. Yeah? 500. Now let's centralize, centralize, and then let's turn it again. Okay? Let's do this. Now, let's duplicate the last one. Okay. And then let's take this back to 0. Back to 0. All right. And then let's make it 100. Okay, centralize it. Oh, sorry, centralize, centralize. In fact, let's even say don't centralize like that. Just come up here. Oh, God. I can't wait to see what this will give me. I have no idea, but I can't wait to see what it will give me. So let's go to prototype. I wish you guys can see my face now. So let's go to prototype and then let's move this plus. Plus to this next one, you come to this place and you say after delay. After delay, let's say 1200 milliseconds. Navigate, let's even make it faster. Let's make this 700 milliseconds, smart animate in and out. All right, great. If we click on this place, pick this frame, come to this frame, say after delay, let's make this was what before? 1200. Great. So let's do the same thing. This is also 1200 milliseconds, and this is 700 milliseconds. That's perfect. Now, let's come here, and then let's say from here to here on after delay. Now, let's do 1200 milliseconds, 700 milliseconds. Great. So, let's see what we have now. If we click on this, we have 1, 2, and 3. All right. So I see that the flow was not like really, it was delaying at some point. But I want it to be like I want it to just go, to just flow into themselves. So I'm going to reduce this to 200. And then I'm going to reduce this as well to 200. All right. So that it's faster. Now let's try that. All right. So you see that it's faster, yeah? Now, if I even now make this like 1 millisecond and I make this like 1 millisecond, that's like the least it can be. Now, let's try it again. You have 1, 2, 3. So you see that? You see what just happened? Oh, God. Are you guys seeing what I'm seeing? Imagine if it was a design, imagine if it was a logo that just came in that dramatic, you understand? It just leaves you wow. I'm seeing your question. Someone says, now I understand the meme that says a designer's vision is a developer's nightmare. Don't worry about that. All what you are going to be designing, of course, all what you are going to be designing should be something that is should be something that is development worthy. So you still have to talk to your developer to know if they can handle some of those prototypes. And I believe that that will be said in the developer handoff. You need to constantly review your designs with your developers so that you don't make them upset at the end of the day, or you don't do something that would take time in development. Or someone says, can I add words? Of course, you can add words. Of course, you can do a lot. You can use words. You can use anything. I'm just using shapes to show us because shapes feel like, it's faster. But you can add words. If we bring in a frame, let's try this. Let's say you want to type, oh goodness, I'm doing this from design mode. All right, so let's say you want to type the digital skill up. Digital skill up. All right, let's try something. Okay, this is digital skill up. Let's make it size 40. Okay, perfect. Okay, and then let's do something like this. So this is one. Um, Space. Okay, this is one. I'm just trying different things here. It's not as if this is design, but I'm just trying different things so that we can see what prototype can do. All right, and then we now have, let's start making this, or Control Z. Let's do immediately, instantly to this. Okay, and then let's take this back to digital skill up. Okay, let's bring this to, let's turn it like this first. Then duplicate this. Let's turn it like, let's do 360. Like this next. Then duplicate this. Let's now make it back to base 0. Okay, now we have it here. Let's bring it to the center for, gracious availability. And then let's try our, wow, time has gone. All right, so I don't need to widen my screen now for us to see it. After delay, yeah, let's do 800 milliseconds, 700 milliseconds. Yeah, that's okay because of time. Let's do this. After delay, 800. Now this one changes to 1 millisecond. Yeah. Then we now say after delay, this also changes to after delay 1 millisecond as well. 700. All right. Great. Now that we've done this, you can even say, let's even try something else. That from here, you can now move it back here after delay again. If you do this, it's going to be rotating. Like it's going to be rotating, it's going to take you back. It's going to be like a loop. It's going to be like a loop that, never ends. Oh, you see that? So that is an introduction to prototype. Now you can prototype for mobile. You can prototype for mobile. You can also prototype for you can prototype for mobile. I'm just enjoying what I'm saying, sorry. You can prototype for mobile. You can also prototype for desktop. So we've not done the prototype of this. You also have component prototype. So you can prototype your components such that if you create one, I don't know if they've taught us how to create components, but because of time, we may not be able to do that. But if you create one component, you create the variant of that component, you can use while hovering to, create this particular flow such that now let's say you want to check what you have done out. When I hover on home, it turns to green. I'm sure you cannot see it from there. So let me just play it instead, present instead, and then you can see that. So just simple. You see can you see what happened to my button? When I'm hovering on the button, there is this change in color. You can achieve that by creating your button component. So you've created your button component. When you hover, it becomes a lighter version. Now that's for the button, but for the navigation, you notice that when you hover, it changes to green. When you hover, it changes to green. When you hover on menu, it changes to green. It changes to green. It changes to green. Now I didn't do any other interaction on this, but you can also do the interaction that when you hover on any of these meals that you want to eat, it can maybe bulk up or something. Let's try something. Let's try something. So this is one of our image. I'm going back to design instead of prototype. So this is one of I'll just duplicate this and I'll drag it out here. So that I'll probably just use this to teach us maybe a bit about components and prototyping in components. So this is our design. I'm going to rename this card slash default. I'll just use DEF because of time. Now duplicate it. I'll say this is card slash hover because of time. Now, if I hover, something is supposed to happen. What do I want to happen? I probably want an effect on my drop down. So maybe I want the drop down to be more. I want the shadow rather that I've given it to be more. So let me say I want it to be darker. Let's make this blur 16 and not just 16. Let's increase the shade, the opacity of our color to 16 as well. That's all I want. That's the only difference I want on my card. So I can bring these two, select the two of them. You can select this way, left click and drag to cover everything, or you can just select the card default, hold your shift key and then select card over. Now you would notice on your property panel, you would notice this four-box kind of thing, and then you will notice the drop down. Click on the drop down and choose create component set. Now that I've created component set, I can just go straight to my prototype, click on this card, the first card. You see the zero, the circle and then the plus. That one, I don't need to say it again now. We already know that because we are amazing. Now, instead of saying on click, I'll just say while hovering. So while hovering, what should happen? It should make this happen. But I don't want smart animates because if I do smart animates, there will be this transition that may be funny. So I just want it to be instant. So instantly move to that place. Now I can copy this now, just Control C, and then I want to paste it directly on where I took it from so that we can see the difference. Control Shift and R to replace it. Control Shift R together to replace it. Now that I've done this, we just want to see this one that I've done, the difference. Can you see that? You see what just happened? You see that while I hover on it, there is it's the shadow is darker and bigger. It's more blurrier, it's bigger. So that's that. You can do that for all of your designs, and then it just brings this sweet life into your design. I hope we have learned something. Let me see if we have questions. I'm so sorry. It's so sweet to design. It is so sweet to design. I'm just enjoying myself. I'm just enjoying myself. I'm trying to look for our questions. I think we have been so captivated. We are not even asking questions. Someone says, can I do this on real images and text? Yes, you can do this on real images and text. You just saw an example here. I have images, I have text, and I was still able to, do a little bit of um prototype on it. Oh, I see you guys are liking this. All right. So one can add those flippings in my like onboarding page for different services. Exactly. Yes, control think. You can bring this in when you are creating your onboarding page, your splash screen, just do smart animate to make it like very, very beautiful and very captivating and all. Yes, you can do this. Yes. Yes, exactly. So I'm doing this on prototype mode. You see that for every time I want to prototype, I have to go to the prototype mode. So I'm doing that on prototype mode. Can I please preview that chop hop prototype again? All right, I will do that. Okay, okay, so beautiful. Oh, thank you. Oh, Dupo, thank you so much. Yes, you can design and prototype at the same time. Just move. In fact, sometimes you can be on prototype and then you will still be designing. But if you find out you are doing that, because I do that a lot and I still did that today. So you can just always change to the prototype and design mode. You can type on prototype sometimes, but I don't know if it will be smooth enough. So just go back to to design. All right. So this is not the class to teach components. I don't know. I'm just supposed to teach prototype today. But I'm sure if you go back to the video, you would see the little that I did. You can always use that for now, pending the time we teach on prototype. Mhm. Yes. Sometimes it is good that you finish your design before you start prototyping, but it is advisable that you keep your prototypes simple, and chunk your work. Chunking your work in the sense that you probably want to handle the splash first, then you want to handle onboarding next, then you want to handle the sign up phase next, then you want to handle the sign in phase next, so that your prototype does not become like a spider cobweb that you don't even know where you are starting or where you are ending again. You understand? So just chunk your work. That is best practice. Chunk your work, test them early, ask people to also test all of those little sections that you have done. Then you can now start connecting the chunked work together. That way it makes your work faster and it makes it better. Yes, yes, Adeyemo. So I've just said chunking is very good. Work each part of your design bit by bit, bit by bit. Design prototype. That's iteration, and that's agile design. Design prototype. Then you can connect every other thing together. All right. Okay. Yes, you can remove background from an image in Figma. There are plugins that can help you remove images from backgrounds in Figma, or backgrounds from images. You guys understand what I'm trying to say? Yes, you guys understand. All right, so it's already 9:01 and we will be ending on this note. Let me just see if let me see if I had a question about when we duplicated the frame with the big circle. When I duplicated both, I couldn't reduce the circle for the duplicated frame. I couldn't reduce the circle for the duplicated frame alone. the frame size resets with the circle. I think that's probably because you are resizing the frame and not the circle. So you want to resize just the circle. It was only the circle that I was resizing. It would You can also go over the video again and see, put it in slow-mo and then see how I did that. All right, so you can use icons background remover. Search for a plugin, AI Creator, search for a plugin called icons background remover. You can use that to remove backgrounds on an image. All right. Yes, Ayodeji has also helped you. You can also use remove BG, but you have to link some things together. But for icons background remover, you don't need to remove any, you don't need to start signing up and doing other things. Yep. All right. Do I make different frames for different screen types when the app is about to go live? Before on Figma, you can always design different frames for different. I mean, you can always design. Let me get my thoughts, or let me see if I can answer. I don't know if I got your question, but if you are asking if you can move from if you can move from desktop to tablet, to if that's the question you're asking, if you can move from desktop to mobile, desktop to tablet and the likes. Right now you can design in responsiveness, but of course it's still for beginners advisable that you design in different screens and different frame sizes. I don't know if that's the answer to your question, Temiloluwa. If that's not the answer, please, you can still reach out to me to ask your questions. All right. Okay, so someone's control thing says, is prototype useful to developers or is it just a means for usability testing? It is absolutely important even for developers. So even after your developer handoff, they still needed to sometimes check how something is linking to something and the mode of its transition. So they use that even for their designs. Yes, they use it for their design, for their development. Yes. No, no, no. Timai, when you are designing, I believe in the elements of design, in the elements of UX design, there is from abstract to concrete. That's the 5S. You are starting from, the scope, the structure, and the light. You need to hit one step at a time, which means that you need to always iterate, you need to always ask about your designs. You can't skip one process. When you create your wireframe, you would carry your wireframe for to your clients or to whoever to check out the work. If you want to now prototype that wireframe so that they can understand the flow, that's fine. But you need to create the wireframe and then the prototype. Create your wireframe, then your prototype. All right. I don't know if there's a plugin for iOS status bar. I think I just have mine designed and then I reuse every time. I don't know if there's a plugin for iOS status bar, but I designed mine and then I just use it every time. This is 9:05. You guys don't want to leave this class. Must one create frames for special aspects of the design, like you did with the polygons and all? Is it possible for you to incorporate that inside the main designs? David, I don't understand your question. Must one create frames even for special aspects of the designs? Depending on what you are trying to achieve, depending on what you are trying to achieve. If what you are trying to achieve can be incorporated into one design, if everything can be incorporated into one, please by all means do that. But if you need to separate some flows, then create frames for the separate flows that you have. This will bring us to the end of this class. I hope you enjoyed it. You can always rewatch the designs. You can always rewatch the classes. And if you have any question, you can reach me on LinkedIn at Esther Ajayi. Thank you very much, everyone, and let's have a lovely time.